I'm so glad you're here. Let's start. Well, hello, everyone. It's Julie Halston, Virtual Halston, Season 2, Episode 15. And you might have noticed we had a little bit of a different background because it's almost Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day. Yeah. Lovers. People in love. Yeah. I'll be with my cats and probably having a glass of red wine and some chocolate. But for all of you that are in this global pandemic together, so happy for you. Anyway, I'm so excited about our guests today, Katie Huffman and Brad Oscar. Okay, a lot of you know them from The Producers, of course, the smash hit The Producers. I have known these two for a long time. They're not only triple threats, but they're just superior human beings. And I just love them. I just adore them. They're so fun and so great and so talented. And they're just really wonderful people. So there we have it. I love them. That's all I need on Valentine's Day. My wonderful friends. I will say I am a little in love with Representative Jamie Raskin. Is anyone else in love with Jamie Raskin? Oh, I can tell you. He can impeach me anytime. I hear Jim groaning. I swear, I hear Jim groaning on 72nd Street. I really do. Well, why don't we bring in the award-winning producer of this show, Jim Caruso. Are you groaning, Jim? You are. You're groaning.
I'm groaning and vomiting. However, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's
Or as my friends say, Valentine's Day.
Is that like Santa Claus?
Oh, I hate that.
I know you do. I hate it too. It's so crazy. It's like
pumpkin. I don't like pumpkin. What is that?
What is that?
Are you saying it wrong on purpose? Because it's annoying.
Yeah. Now, Jim, have you been watching the impeachment trial?
I have.
And
yes.
We do have to talk. Now, Jamie Raskin is brilliant. I mean, he's brilliant.
Yeah, I don't want you to date him, though.
No, well, first of all, he's married, and
well, I don't know what's going on.
Everyone is talking about it.
It's like purple and navy blue, and
well, there's also a huge bald spot, and then many people thought it was a yarmulke for a while, but apparently,
it's a very clean bald spot.
Yeah, but it's a clean bald. But you know what? As my dear friend Chip said, and he loves him. Of course, we all love him, and he's a hero. Of
course.
But he needs a stylist.
Yes.
And I think the hair, I wish I could talk to his wife and just say, look, I'm a deeply shallow person, but this is TV.
Yeah.
And he's going to be asked to be on every television show in the world. You need, I think the suits fit, but the hair. Yeah,
I know, it's problematic.
Yeah.
But listen, date him if you can get it, go for it, Julie.
Listen. If
one
of the most incredible constitutional lawyers in the country asked me out, first of all, it would be in the New York Times. It would be a page ad, a long page ad, like what happened to this man's judgment. But now, darling, speaking of deeply shallow and whatever, and looks and whatnot, I understand you recently had a rather interesting dermatology.
I did. I wasn't going to talk about this, but why
you look
not?
Great.
Well, I have a light the size of Pittsburgh shining on me. I decided to do something that I've been reading about for a long time that my dermatologist suggested called Fractora. Now, Fractora.
That sounds like something out of Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Or we're now going to read from the Fractora, kind of a, anyway.
Yes.
It's an advanced fractional radiofrequency treatment providing anti-aging improvements on skin tone and texture for a more radiant appearance through ablation and skin resurfacing. Just off the top of my head.
Oh my God.
So he said it kind of hurts. Okay. I'm an adult. I'm a man.
Is it a laser? Is it a laser?
But yes, but no. It's lasery, but it's it's like it's what he doesn't tell you is it's like medieval torture. It's a little thing that's like that big. He puts it on your face and then he pushes so hard. It's like a truck is backing into your face, but just right there.
Oh.
And needles go in. Yeah. I mean, I knew all this, but you don't really get it until it's happening. And it's like, wow, it hurts a lot. And I've had open heart surgery. This hurt more.
Wow. That's saying a lot.
But just right there, and then right there, and then right there. It's, it's so much pain in such a little area. It's very violent. As it's happening, you're thinking, I chose to do this.
Yes.
This is the dumbest thing. And then, of course, 20 seconds after it's over, you're like, oh, I'd do that again.
Oh, like having a baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I'm not seeing the results yet. He says like in a month and a half or two, the collagen starts rebuilding or whatever the hell. So we'll check back in with me, won't you?
I think you look terrific.
Well.
And I may or may not do it because you know me, I love a procedure.
No, that's the problem. I don't, you love, can we say it, the injectables? You enjoy that.
I love injectables. I
don't.
And have you ever, you tell us about Botox.
I did Botox.
Yes.
I think my friend Cortez is watching. We were both in a show called Liza's at the Palace.
Sure.
Starring Liza Minnelli. Duh. And we were going to open on Broadway. So Cortez and I both thought while we were rehearsing and being on the road performing, we'd get a little Botox because we wanted to look, it's my Broadway debut. I want to look good.
Sure.
So I got a little, right in here.
Okay.
And in rehearsal, at one point, we were looking at Liza, and then she wanted us to look into the audience and do this. Like a really animated, bright, surprise face. So we were doing it, and she kept saying, no, I want more. I want a big surprise face. Cortez and I were doing it. No, I want a lot of surprise from your face. I'm like, what the hell? Who's more animated than me? So she said, look in the mirror and see what you're doing. We were doing this. There was absolutely no change because we had gotten Botox like 4 days before. So
wow.
That was my Botox experience. It didn't, and we had to call Liza to say, you're going to get that bit in about a month and a half.
Yeah. It'll
get a surprise.
On the road. It'll happen on the road.
Yeah. Toward the middle of our run at the Palace Theater, we gave her an expression.
Yeah. See, now I'm the opposite. If I could inject every day something in my face, I would. Now I'm judicious. So I don't do it, but I love an injectable. And even sometimes when it kind of pinches a little, because doesn't really hurt very much.
Oh,
but
I didn't care about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But even when it hurts, even a tiny bit, I'm just like, I'm in heaven.
Yeah.
I am in heaven.
No, I get that. I do get it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this Fractura, though, this is rough.
Okay.
Rough.
Well, I may not do the Fractura.
I don't think you'd like it.
Yeah, I have a feeling I might not. Now let's bring, I want to bring Ruby in. Oh, by the way, people might be thinking to themselves, why is Julie in a different location? I feel like I'm caged by Joan Crawford. I'm in like the corner of what's happening? I've been doing so many readings and auditions and readings and, I don't know, all these business Zooms, and they want a small background. You know what I mean? So I've been here in this. It's a little crazy, but I do feel a little caged in.
No, it looks great.
Yeah, it looks fine. Let's bring our tech director, our famous Ruby. Let's bring her in. See.
Oh, Ruby.
Oh, Jim.
There she is. Ruby. No, I've said it once. I've said it twice. I've said it maybe 100 times. Jim, Ruby is on the verge of becoming like someone that Oprah will pick
Right.
as her next director.
Yes.
Ruby will not know my name in 6 months. I'm
That
telling
is
you.
not true. That is not true.
She'll
She is
recall
so
it.
busy.
She'll recall it vaguely.
Yeah. And she'll go, oh, you know what? She was nice. She was
The
fun.
Botox lady.
Yeah. Oh, Julie, what was Julie?
Holman.
Yeah, Halston. That's right. Halston. Yeah. Ooh.
Never.
You tell us, you've been doing so much. Are you up to 6,000 subscribers now?
Not yet. I've been, honestly, it's been mostly working for other clients right now. I'm knees deep. Actually, this is really cool. And I know that I can talk about this. If I can't, okay. But I think I can. I'm currently working on a online reading of the off-Broadway show A Letter to Harvey Milk that was
Yes.
in 2018. So they're doing it virtually to raise money. It's going to be a benefit. So that's what I've currently been working on, and the cast is incredible. Everybody couldn't be nicer. It's been such a joy. So I'm like 1 week into that. I have 1 week left of that, and then I move on to like the next big project. Yeah.
And you're going to be helping us with our March 12th Broadway belt for Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation.
Yes, it's going to be amazing.
Ooh.
Look, there you are. There we are. And, I'm encouraging people, go to www.broadwaybeltsforpff.org to register and watch. I got to tell you, we're very excited. Andrew Reynolds, Darlene Love, Bobby Creighton, Max Von Essen, Annalie Ashford. I mean, this is
Jessica
fantastic.
Vosk.
What, honey?
Jessica Vosk.
Jessica Vosk, with a little bit of a surprise appearance by a shout out from my dear friend Harvey. I think you'll figure out who Harvey is. So it's going to be fantastic. And anyway, Ruby's going to be there, helming us and getting us through all the tech stuff. And Jim and I will be co-hosting. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So fun.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Jim, I do have to say, I didn't know that Factora was the treatment that you got on your face. I have a friend who did it like 6 months ago and said that it was the most painful experience of her life. So as you're telling that story, I'm laughing in like the backstage area of the platform that we use, because I was having PTSD for my friend, because she said it was unlike anything she had ever experienced.
No, it's not fun. It's not fun. And I better look like Rob Lowe by the time this is done.
I've heard the results are actually amazing. So Jim, I mean, maybe the pain will be worth it. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been through anything that painful. I can't really handle a lot of pain, but.
Listen, if you take maybe 2 Ativan and go there, it might be worth it.
Just shoot up with the heroin.
Maybe that is our first virtual Halston on location.
That would be amazing. It would be like Katie Couric getting her colonoscopy.
Kind of.
Just like that.
Yes, I think it's a ratings winner.
This is disgusting. This is terrible talk.
Yes. So you know what? So in order to switch that subject real quick, I do just want to say, Julie, that speaking of the PFF, Amy is watching today, and there's her comment.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful because you are all wonderful. Amy is one of the most incredible fundraisers I've ever worked with in my life. She is so fantastic, and she has a adorable little boy named Tommy, who is the cutest little one in the world. So, Amy, thank you for watching. And this again, okay. Wow.
Did you get those teeth by mail? You have to go in for the meeting. You can't just get them mail order. God.
This was a natural way of saying, why do we do this show? Well, we do it because we want to see horrifying things like that just happen. We do this because we give a portion to the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation, and we also do it to entertain you, which we hope we're doing, and to pay for the platforms. And as many of you know, My late husband passed away from complications of pulmonary fibrosis, and that's why I'm so involved with the PFF. It's a wonderful organization, and I am so grateful. We have the most incredible viewers, very much like Pajama Cast Party. We have such loyal viewers, and they're so generous every week. And I just want to thank you. I cannot tell you, it really means the world. And it basically got me through this year. I mean, it really did. So thank you again. And we're going to bring on a very special person now.
Explain Fan 5.
Yes,
I'm going to go away.
Oh, okay.
No, Ruby, before you go away, we have to say it. She's young. She's beautiful. She's going to be giving a TED Talk next week. I'm telling you. Bye, Ruby.
Bye.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about this woman that we're just crazy about. The composer of Drowsy Chaperone. I mean, I think she was a child actress.
She's actually the lyricist.
The lyricist. That's right. Well, that's a composing. You compose the words.
Okay.
You compose the words. But she's an actress. She's a comedy writer. She's a lyricist. She's won a Tony Award. But she's also I've just become obsessed with her. She's just hilarious. And she's just one of those gals you go, what a gal. Don't you think? I mean,
I do.
And she's so supportive of us.
And she watches the show every week, Julie.
Every week. I mean, and she's generous. She donates. This is fan appreciation as well as fan faves. So let's start the segment as we know now how to do.
Fan 5, Fan 5, Fan 5, Fan 5.
Oh my God. And there she is. Oh my God.
Hello.
Hello, darling.
You see this? And my shirt too.
Oh my
here we
God.
go. There she is. She's too much. She's too
Bless you.
Comfortable.
Darling, you're part of the franchise.
I love it. I love it. I never take it off. I do.
Oh my God. It's so fantastic. Now, I have to ask you, Lisa.
Yes.
Now, did you grow up in Pittsburgh?
My family comes from Pittsburgh. I moved to Toronto when I was 5 years old.
Oh,
So
fine.
I grew up in Toronto, but all of our family and extended family stuff was always in Pittsburgh. So I feel that's where everything, that's where the bar mitzvahs were and the weddings and all the stuff.
Right. But because I kept thinking, why are they up in Toronto? I mean, did they need to be colder than Pittsburgh? Or
No. I remember at 5 years old being shocked, and I was used to the winter, but there was just a slight bite that's different up here. And I remember at 5 going, "This is different," knowing that there's a
yeah.
So we moved up here in 1968 during all the unrest in America.
Yeah, the tumult, and the very tumultuous 60s. So you missed Woodstock.
I know. I would have been. I would have. I wish I could go back and be at the right age and in the right place in the crowd, not in the rainy part, but right at the stage.
No mud.
No, at the stage. That would have been nice.
Yeah, preferably with like the gorgeous boyfriend.
Yes. The glamorous idea of Woodstock I would have loved.
Yeah, I always wanted that too. I was like, I don't know, 12, 13, whatever. But I always dreamed of like the prairie skirt. Do you know what I mean? The peasant blouse, smoking a blunt.
Yes.
Did I just say
kind
that?
of braid thing that was for some reason they were really able to do, like cool braids.
Yeah. But with the gorgeous boyfriend, front row, of course. Front row, so I could see whatever,
And sometimes you make your way into the movie in certain parts.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, when there's a break, we go off to the meadow and make out and do that.
Do one of those like bathing in the sunset things and then back to the front row of the show.
Yes. Maybe you should write a musical about this. Call it Hair. Yeah,
exactly.
Now, darling, you were a child actress.
I was not. No, I was. Let's see. more like in my teens, I did lots of
That's still child, really.
I feel like that was sort of me. When I was a child, I was kind of different, like child. Like I was very shy.
And how did that change then?
I don't know. There's something clicked where it was kind of like, wait a minute, I'm not shy. I want attention. And I don't know where that happened. Because when I was a little child, I would have just watched everything and not said anything. And then I don't know, maybe that's the way it is with performers, that they're shy and then something kicks
Were you
in.
watching something? I mean, you loved the Carol Burnett show.
Yeah,
And
Carol Burnett was a big part. It was almost like, I want that world.
Yeah.
I want those friends. I want to feel like that. I want to be happy. I want to be all the characters. Like, and it was more.
That's what you created.
Yeah. That's kind of, I think, you know what? We did kids theater. I think that's right in high school. The same people that I wrote the Drowsy Chaperone with. It's funny because it was the same people. I don't think of us as kids, but we were. We had a children's theater company. We toured around Toronto, like libraries, doing this nonsense for like little kids. We were like big kids performing for little kids.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was very similar. I was very, very shy, so shy that my parents at a time thought I might be learning disabled. Little did they know, I probably was. But
I was wondering where that was going.
yeah, I probably was.
But when did that change, like for you?
You know what it was? I had no friends.
Oh.
And one of the teachers said to my mother, you need to invite people to the house and get this girl some people to interact with, because I was so shy. I know, it's so pathetic. And you know what? In third grade, there was a very funny girl in my third grade class, Judy King. Whatever happened to her, I don't know. But she's
watching right now.
Yeah, maybe. She was very popular. And I remember thinking, I need to speak up. I need to be funny in order to get friends. And suddenly I became the class clown, and my mother went to the parent-teacher conference. And my mother, I remember she said to the teacher, I know my daughter is very shy and she never speaks. She goes, she can't shut up. She can't shut up. And suddenly I was liberated.
Wow.
And that was it.
So that was your moment. And Lisa had the Carol Burnett show.
That's right.
Totally. I used to run, doing
poor friendless Julie. Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah. It was at summer camp running around doing a Norma Desmond. You know, I'm sure the counselors were so annoyed, but we were so obnoxious. Like, okay, kids, enough. But that's, and I would force the other kids to be Max. It's like, you're Max.
Is that when you were writing with those? Were you writing stuff with those guys, the Drowsy guys, at that point?
Carol Burnett for me started probably when I was around like 8 or 9. I started writing with those boys like in high school, so that would have been like when we were like 17. Something like that.
But that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, how do you know Katie Huffman? Because she knows you.
Yes, Katie and I worked on a project that Blake Edwards of the Pink Panther and Victor Victoria and all was working on a musical for a while based on a very early movie he wrote called He Laughed Last. It's hard to find. And he had this project for a while. Katie was on this project longer than Greg Morrison and I were, but it was a musical that he was trying to adapt, and it kind of never. Katie probably knows more of the story than I do, but we were brought on the last couple of years to write a new score for it. So we were in California, Greg and I, working with Katie and with Blake Edwards, and this was over about 2 years off and on. We were down in their world, in the sort of Blake Edwards world, in kind of writing a musical in this kind of Hollywood environment, old Hollywood environment. So, there were some good numbers and there's lots of fun in the show. It never totally came together, but the experience, it's hard. That's the kind of, I wish there's some way that I could depict it in some way. Some way we want to do this, like find a way to show what it was like to be in that, trying to write a musical in that world.
Was he with Julie Henry at that point?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
We were in there. They were so lovely. Like we were in their house. Like there was a period there where we were like letting ourselves into their house. Like
Fantastic.
I know, that's what I mean. It's like, what is that?
It's fantastic. Now, I found this on your page. It's called The Sisters Plots or something.
Yes.
Please, there it is.
There they are.
What in God's name? Starring Eve Plum.
Starring
What was
Eve-
that, darling? What was that?
Okay, so the girl in the middle there, Lisa Ferber and Lisa Hammer, the other two gals, they were already, I met them probably around 2011, and they were working on this movie. And Lisa Ferber, the one with the dark hair, is this really cool woman, lives on the Upper West Side, has an apartment that she inherited, I think, from her parents. So it's this old West Side, it's the kind of place you don't see now. So she's kind of like a person from the 1920s, and Lisa Hammer is a filmmaker who makes these kind of avant-garde films, and somehow they came together and concocted this very weird 1920s-esque story about these crazy sisters who live in the Upper West Side, and they met Eve because Eve is a great artist, so Eve and Lisa met at an art show. So they just had this world they concocted, and they brought me into it kind of when they already had it cast. They were like, okay, you'll play Bubbles. It was very last minute. They had sort of gotten all their buddies together in this strange world. So it's really neat. They had an opening of this movie, I think a few years ago in New Jersey, in some big old movie house. So I've lost contact with them a little bit, and it's nice that you brought them up because it's Lisa Hammer and Lisa Ferber, and they're just
you need to get back in touch with them, darling.
Absolutely do.
We need to see it.
Yeah, and we need to see it.
Yeah,
we need to have a screening and do a whole
Absolutely.
thing. Maybe we could do it like Mystery Theater. We could watch it here all together. Wouldn't that be fun?
It totally is like that. It's
Mystery Theater.
Yeah.
All right, Lisa. Okay, I'm charging you now.
Okay.
This needs to happen.
All right, I'll gather.
Sisters Plots. I want our listeners and viewers to really want this. We'll have like a Mystery Theater, and we'll watch it, screen share it. I'm telling you, I'm living for this.
Perfect. It's perfect.
I'm living for this.
The Lisas will love this too. The Lisa. Yeah. There's a world of Lisas that need to get back together.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is fantastic. Well, I think we have to say goodbye to you now, Anne.
Well, say
Lisa,
hello.
we love you.
I love you, and say hi to Katie.
Well, we totally will.
Yes.
Lisa, come back, because at some point, we just need you to be here all the time.
I will be here. I'm right here.
So fantastic. We're crazy for you. And we'll do the Sisters Plots.
Absolutely.
All right.
Nice to see you.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye.
Oh, she's too much.
I know. Tony winner.
Tony winner. I'm just crazy for her.
I know. She's so funny, so smart. Oh my gosh.
No, she's just terrific. A great gal, one of the great gals. Now, Jim, I think it's time to bring our guests on.
I can't wait.
I know. I mean, these two, they really are. It's kind of amazing because they're such nice human beings, and they're so fun and so talented, but they really can do it all. There are those people.
Yeah, that's true.
I am still trying to acquire one skill. Just one. Do you know what I mean?
Are you a single threat? Is that what
I'm no, I'm called no threat.
No
threat. Zero threat. They can sing, dance, act, write, improv. It's just cray how talented they are. And of course, they were both in the producers, but they both singularly and together have done so much. Let's bring them on. The incredible Brad Oscar and the incredible Katie Huffman. Yeah, there they are. How about Lisa Lambert?
I can't believe you deprived me of Lisa Lambert.
Isn't she fantastic?
She's one of my favorite people. That's what you get when you work with people who spend most of their days in Canada.
Yeah, well,
they're nice.
Yeah, they're nice and they're sane. Now, Brad, I basically live around the block from me. Yes. We're touching now. We're touching.
Tickling your fancy?
We're touching.
Yes.
Katie, are you in your new home?
I am up in Connecticut in my house.
Yes.
What
Isn't
the
that
hell?
fantastic? I just love the cojones of you. Just saying, I'm just gonna pick up and I'm gonna buy a house.
Well, I tell you, that it was a lonely existence. I purposely bought this co-op in Riverdale because Riverdale's sort of the suburbs in the Bronx.
Right.
And I bought like the quietest corner. So this pandemic, it was just crickets. I mean, it was just me and my cats. I couldn't look out onto the street. There was just nothing. And 9 months of that really took its toll. I'm like, I want a house. And I didn't think I could afford a house, but it turns out a house where I bought a house is less money than I could sell my apartment for. So
no, it's so smart and it's so fantastic. And I'm sorry, I know where you are, and I won't tell people. I won't know. But there are a lot of straight men around
my neighbors,
there.
you're gonna know soon, I guess.
Yeah. No. There's a lot of straight men around there. I'm just letting
there
you
are
know.
a lot. And they are, unfortunately I can't invite them into my home right now, but I'm just making a list.
Well, honey, I'm getting my second shot February 15th.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And then 2 weeks later, apparently you're kind of like in a good place.
That's awesome.
What are you going to do?
So happy for you.
What is there to do? I mean, I would say, what are you going to do? But it's like, what can you do?
What can you do? Well, you know what? I'll find out.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be more comfortable like doing the indoor dining, probably.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Now, Brad, how have you been doing? And you were doing this Doubtfire during this whole thing.
Yes.
Where I think we have a pic of you doing this. There you are.
Yes, there I am. All hands and chin. Look at me.
Yeah. Just wondering, I guess you're playing a gay character.
Does it show? Jeez Louise.
Really good guess.
Boy, all my Botox is here. Yes. Look, I'm very lucky in the sense that I will have a job to come back to because the show will open on Broadway. It's just a question of when.
Yes.
So, yes.
Awesome.
So I'm very grateful for that. That being said, as we know, it's been just a wonderful time.
Yeah, just a wonderful time. How are you doing emotionally? I mean, as Katie said, I'm looking out and I'm like 9 months of this. I'm actually leaving. How are you doing emotionally?
Well, I mean, to you and all your listeners, I'm grateful for my husband most of all, because that's the thing. It's like having someone at least to cohabitate with and exist with in this way that has separated us all. Because when I think about it, who else have I hugged or touched in any meaningful way? So anyway, so look, I've got my health. My folks are great, vaccinated. My mother couldn't be more excited that I'm here. My father too. So in the big picture, I'm fine. But yes, getting out of bed every day, it's hard because what we do, what I love is, and what I love to also to go to the theater and go to concerts and baseball games and, so anyway, blah, blah, blah. It's hard.
Yes, Brad, were you happy about the Super Bowl this year?
Well, it was very anticlimactic.
It really was.
I was thrilled to see, Patti LuPone versus,
Christine Ebersol.
So thank you, somewhat exactly. But it was, we wished it had been a better game, but you can't deny the guys. That
oh
Tom
my
Brady.
God, it makes me so mad. Like he actually is some sort of genius. It's like,
I have big Kansas City Chiefs fans and that are friends, very, very dear friends. And the texts that I were getting were just going down a rabbit hole so quickly. Yeah. And, it's kind of like, oh, Tom Brady, you're so this and that and and Giselle, you're all so gorgeous and you're all this. And at a certain point, you just go, he needs to just, I don't know, get a adult acting on the face or something.
But you can't deny what he does.
You can't deny it.
It's can't deny it. So
no, he's amazing.
It's extraordinary.
It is extraordinary. He's a major star. Now, Katie, what were you doing when we went into lockdown? What were you doing?
Absolutely nothing. No, I had just directed something at the 92nd Street Y
Okay.
at late February called about the Jerry Herman You I Like concert. And I was in it as well, but I kept on trying to cast somebody to play my part, but I had to go on. But yeah, so I had just directed that and I have no recollection of anything else.
But Katie, let me remind you, in the fall, and I will show you, Katie, I am wearing the dress that I wore in the film that we made.
Oh yeah, you guys made right with Charles.
Yes. Well,
We made a
we are
film.
movie stars, and that
We
dress
were-
is awesome on you.
Oh, bless you, honey. Brad, we made a film
With Charles, I followed
Newburgh,
you.
New
I followed
York.
you. I knew exactly what you were doing.
We're
We
movie
made a film
stars.
in Newburgh.
Oh my God.
And it was
Julie, you and Charles together, because there is some cross-dressing going on. And it's not just Charles this time.
I was going to say. I love it.
Brad, there is a scene. It is kind of a crazy scene. Charles Bush is in full drag, and I'm in full male drag, and I look exactly like my Sicilian father. Martin Scorsese should literally cast me immediately. And across the street, Katie is in full vampire drag. That is the scene in this film.
This is how I
Now,
spent
I
my
don't know if
time.
we're going to Sundance, but
Wow.
we're definitely going
We're
downtown.
definitely going to Comic-Con.
Yeah, we're going to
You know.
Comic-Con. Exactly. Yes,
Wow.
and we have a picture, Katie and I, it was very COVID safe. We
Yeah.
very COVID
So
safe.
many. I got tested 6 times in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 7 times in 2 weeks. We have a picture, I think, of me and Katie in hair and makeup with, so many shields and masks and all this kind of
Is it
stuff.
coming up?
I don't know. It's coming up somewhere. Well, maybe
Do
not.
I look smarter? I look smarter.
Oh,
than
maybe.
most
But wait.
places, Yeah.
But wait, in lieu of the picture, Katie, could you take your right ear out because the mic is hitting your necklace? Yes. And we're getting all kinds of comments from the angry throngs.
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
I've already angered people.
I think they'll love you now. Okay,
Oh, well.
I'm done.
It's not
I'm
the
done
first
now.
time.
Now,
Isn't that why
Ruby,
we
now
met early?
I had no idea.
It wasn't clinking. It only as you start to move back and forth, it starts to hit
Because
that.
do I move a lot when I talk?
You're brute. We all do, don't we?
Yeah. Don't
Is
we?
it-
Like,
don't
I don't
we?
know. I'm a little Italian.
Exactly.
Well, we were in this movie together, Brad, and there we are.
There you are. Look at you. Look at
Just
Katie.
gorgeous. Gorgeous.
No,
That's
it was
Lord.
crazy. But here's the thing, and Katie can attest to it. We were so COVID safe. We did not socialize at all. We all, ate in our own little rooms, our own little pods, no socializing. We went back to our rooms. No one did anything, everything 6 feet, 8 feet, this and that. But then you'd go to the set and we take off our masks
make out.
and our shields. And I got into bed with Tim Daly. How safe is that? I don't understand it.
Wow.
And
Yeah, it's
he's
very
supposed to be having
confusing.
sex. He's on top of me. Is that safe?
Well, you
No.
were tested, and you hope and you trust that you've all been safe, right? You quarantined before you went, I assume, or something.
We
to the
did. No, we were tested all the time. I, of course,
Tim Daly.
kept
It just doesn't seem like Tim Daly would get COVID.
He should never.
He did not, as far as I know. But I kept shouting for more retakes, of course.
Well, what occurred to me while we were shooting that thing is like, this is a group of people, including people backstage, the makeup artists, everybody. It's a group of people who want to work. It's like, we're doing everything we can because we want this. We don't just want to work. We want it to work, that we can all work.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty much, I liked having our little team of people telling us, put up your mask and all that stuff. But
Yeah, it was
I just
great.
felt like everybody wanted to work, so you take care of yourself.
It was
And your
fantastic,
fellow.
and nobody got sick, as far as I know. I've asked, and we've talked,
Right.
to Carl, our director, and Charles. Nobody got sick, so that was fantastic. And the Newburgh studios are really quite beautiful. It's the Umbra Studios in Newburgh, and I happen to know the owners, and they are really terrific people. So if you want to make a film,
Let's make a film.
That's a place to
Come
go.
on up.
Come on up to Newburgh. Of course, we were staying in Fishkill because when you want to stay somewhere, you want to be near a prison.
Sure. Nothing says I'm shooting an indie like Fishkill.
By the way, if you're enjoying this conversation, please feel free to tip us. We need to pay for the platforms. There you go. And to give a donation to the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation. I must tell you, we have such generous viewers. They're incredible, and they come every week. It's so great. It's really amazing.
And I love Ralph, and I miss Ralph.
Oh.
It really is. It's amazing. Now, let me ask you both. At an early age, I mean, we talked about sort of being shy and
I'm shy.
I'm shy. But did you know once you figured out, oh, I think I like this performing thing, did you go like, oh, I want to make Broadway the goal? Or because I know, Katie, you were really kind of a ballerina for a while. And
Yeah. Well, I think, I was one of those weirdo kids. I've always wanted to do this. I did not understand that nobody else knew what they wanted to do, like in elementary school. So I was always very focused on whatever lessons and classes, got me out of the house, just like put me in. I sort of, what I loved about ballet was how athletic it was, and how you really transformed as a ballet dancer. It was not a natural way to work. So it was like a real transformation and learning an incredibly difficult skill. And the same with singing. And then, I think as soon as I saw a chorus line when I was about 10, my brother we bought the album, the vinyl album, and we stretched to it for 3 months, and it was just, And at 14, I saw all that jazz, and at 20, I was working with Bob Fosse.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Like, what the fuck? I mean, that ballet, everything, it all just like sort of led right to it.
I was so really kind of heartbroken when Anne Ronking passed away. I'd done a number of fundraisers with her, and I just loved her. I mean, she was just besides the fact that she was just a luminous presence on stage, she was really a fun gal. Yeah, like you two. I mean, just fun and just really transcendent. I was just really kind of heartbroken, and I can barely move, but I love to watch people move. Now, Brad, did you want to be a ballerina?
I did, of course I did.
Yeah.
No, but the same thing with Katie. My parents introduced me to musical theater at a young age because they loved it and, went to the theater. I grew up in DC, so we got to see a lot of theater pre-Broadway tours and stuff. So it was always something that I took to and I loved, and Broadway itself was Fantasyland, the city and everything. And then I started coming up because we lived in DC. We would start coming up and seeing shows, over the weekends. And so, it was always.
Good for you.
In that respect. And it was nurtured, thank God. And And then, the randomness of the business, right? To be able to actually make a career of this, as we.
Yeah, well, I'm still working on it.
But we all are, right? Every day, because exactly your show. It is.
When I think about me and Brad, you're sort of right. Like we were sort of a character people who could sort of do everything. It's like, well, you need something for that. Put Brad in there. Put Katie in there. It's just like I never got the big leading part, but it's like, hey, yeah, she can do it. Just put her over there. That's sort of how we.
But Katie, I still find it extraordinary that you were a Fosse dancer in that way, that you got to experience that. Yeah. Sadly, of course, his last show, and one that I saw you try out in Boston, BT Dubs, when I was at college, at Boston University. Yeah. But I just think that, that says so much about who you are as a performer, first of all, to, obviously join that illustrious. But,
Katie worked with Dame Edna on Broadway. That's right.
Exactly. And Dame Edna and the original La Cage. I mean, come on.
I know. It's like, it's extraordinary. Please, Brad. And then he and I, of course, the producers and all that. Exactly. But it's just like, what? I can look back, certainly, and you sort of see those milestones, but we're very forward-thinking people, right? Like it's always the next thing that we want, right? So yes, you look back and go, shit, yeah, I would love to talk about Bob Fosse all night long, or
Right.
Arthur Lawrence, or Mel Brooks, or
Right.
Blake Edwards. You know, it's like such a fortunate life.
Oh
Right.
no,
And,
it's
all
great.
becomes a part of what you do and informs the next thing you do. And,
It
you know,
sure does. You just
Yeah.
learn, and you just want to get to the next one. And now that I'm directing, it's like bringing all of that to my actors, and I work with
Yeah.
college kids a lot. It's like so exciting to even tell them who Bob Fosse is, because some of them do not know
Yeah.
who Bob Fosse is.
Let me tell you, I had a thrill this week, and I know this is maybe big news. It's going to be big news. I got a text from one of your castmates. Name is Nathan Lane. He's going to be on this show. He wanted to be on the show.
Well, there's a good get.
And I just thought, you know, this is what I
So
love.
you're asking us
Jim,
back
when
because
Jim
Nathan's
asked
not
me-
enough.
when Jim asked me to do this show, I said no 3 times. And he said, you should be doing this. I have had so much fun getting to know my friends in a different way.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so great. It really is. Now, if we're going to talk about Mel Brooks and what, we have to bring up the producers. Did you know each other before you did the producers?
No, I mean, I knew who Katie was. You know,
I
she
had
was
no
Zigzag's
idea
favorite.
who he was.
She was Zigzag's favorite, baby. No, I mean, I knew, and I probably met you, Katie, because I was good friends with Michael Pissarro. Remember? And, you know, and so I was around Will Rogers and saw your dress and all that stuff. But anyway,
I wore a dress.
no, other than knowing who she was, no, we had never worked together.
No,
Well, let's
no.
bring up I think we have a picture or two of this fantastic, incredible. Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
That's ridiculous.
Who is that?
Who is that? And there, look at this.
That is
Yeah.
not me. But
No,
No,
that's-
that's not you.
I was going to
that's
say, when did I do it
Larry.
with Larry on Broadway?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
Lee?
that was Larry.
Was that Lee
I
Zimmerman?
think that's Lee. What's
Lee Zimmerman.
Lee Zimmerman.
That's Lee
yeah,
Zimmerman.
Lee Zimmerman. But
That's from
that was
Vegas.
you, Brad. It was a rock show every night and just kind of crazy. I mean, that must have been very odd. And Brad, you were understudying not only Nathan, weren't you understudying
Franz.
Roger Bars?
Just very briefly, and it was exactly 20 years ago, BTW. Our first preview was February 1st, 2001 in Chicago, Cadillac Palace. We ran through February, I think literally to the 28th. Came back to New York. So long story short, I was cast. I went in as a standby for Max Bialystock. By the first day of rehearsal, like 2 or 3 weeks later, because I was cast at the very end, I was basically a swing, but I was also covering Max and Roger Debris, or Dear Gary Beach, God rest his soul,
Yeah.
and Franz Liebken, and like 4 character men in the ensemble. I was flipping out in rehearsal. It was so much material. I'm not a dancer. Thank you.
Didn't we call you like the little swing that could? You know, it was just a constant.
Yes. But I'm
I'd
not
be in Mount Sinai. I'd be in Mount
it was
Sinai.
crazy. So we get to Chicago. Long story short, the actor playing Franz has to have some surgery on his knee. He decides to have it right away so that he will ideally then be better. We live in a very subjective world of show business, and the powers that be and everyone have decided that they were happy with what I was doing in Chicago with the role. And the next thing you know, we're opening on Broadway, and I'm part of this extraordinary experience. And, yeah. But it
And
was very random.
And
Very
you had a Tony nomination, of course, for it. That's incredible.
Crazy.
When I read that you were doing that, I knew you had understudied Max, but I was like, okay, you know what? That's when I become an alcoholic. Like if I had to do that. Do you know what I mean? I would have been fired because I couldn't have handled it. But you did. You handled
Well, you stay in the moment, all the things you've been told, whether it's therapy or the good teachers that you've had or both. The opportunity presents itself. When I had to go on for Nathan that first year, Katie knows people were not happy, but I just said, what can I do? I'm going to do the best I can do. I'm going to fill the shoes as much as I can. And I'm going to trust that I love this. I've loved it ever since I was a kid in the basement dancing around to the Damn Yankees cast album. So, or playing the lead in Montgomery College Summer Dinner Theater. So I know what that's about, to be the star, whatever it was and then I plowed into it. And look, audiences for the most part, because at least they were getting Matthew. You were getting one star. You were getting Broderick at least. And then
right.
This ridiculous featured cast with Gary and Katie and Roger. And, so anyway.
You're also extraordinary. You're fantastic. But then I remember you did the national No, you went to Vegas. Went to Vegas.
Did everything. I opened the Second National, then London, then Vegas. Yeah, crazy.
Wait.
That's why you're with Lee. With Larry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Lee
wait,
and London.
And Larry
London.
Rabin went to London?
Lee Zimmerman opened London because she lived in London at the time.
Right. And Larry
Oh, yes.
Rabin was in London?
No, that's Vegas. That picture was from the 90-minute
gotcha.
producers.
Wow.
in
wait. Come on. David Hasselhoff was in Vegas.
David
Brad,
Look,
take a sip of your adult beverage.
but you're not going to be happy because the thing is that he could not have been, you hate to hear these things, right? Look, he's a character. He's lived in a crazy world, right? For all of his, since he's become who he is, right? So, but he could not have been more generous. The first day of rehearsal, he's like, look, I'm here because, hopefully I'll sell some tickets, but, this show belongs to Brad and Larry and da-da-da. He was just and he really was a great guy, a character, and certain, like, why do you have a full-size sort of French maid doll in your dressing room with a feather duster? I don't know, but you're a good guy. So it's okay. We allow each other our little peccadillos. But no, he worked very hard, and he, I have nothing bad to say about him in that way.
Right.
In that respect, I'm like, Kanahara, but even David couldn't really draw a crowd. Nobody wanted to, Vegas, that was sort of that moment when Vegas was like, maybe not with musicals like that,
Hairspray was the same, honey.
Exactly.
It really didn't make it.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of the French maid doll. That's a visual I'll be
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. Hi, David Hasselhoff.
Please.
Now,
I love
Katie, I have seen you do so many things. I mean, you have been, you do everything. But I remember Will Rogers' Follies, of course, and the Nance. You were so brilliant in the Nance, and oh my God! But you did do
Revolution of the Elbow of Ragnar Agnarsson, furniture painter. I did. Yes,
you
I
have
did.
to tell people about Revolution of the Elbow.
It
was the craziest thing. Brad, did you see it?
Elbow. Yeah,
I don't think I even know from this.
We lived in Ragnar Agnarsson's elbow. The whole story was in his elbow. It was an Icelandic piece of theater.
Oh.
Yeah, and I had met with the people. The script was a crazy mess. And it was like so crazy. I was like, well, I need to go to Iceland to see what culture created this. So I went to Iceland. They were amazing. The people, I mean, I am in love with my Icelandic friends. And they put me up while I was there. I spent a week or so, drove around Iceland, which is the most empty place. It's like, this is a city, like there's just nobody there. And I said, of course I'm going to do this. And then it was this crazy experience where they had never, musicals are not like a tradition in Iceland. So it was this huge learning curve of, trying to put pop music into different keys for these actors and figure out this crazy living in an elbow thing. I had a blast.
I'm going to just describe it. No, Icelandic theater, who knew?
Who knew?
Well,
the theater there is fantastic. They just don't have a strong tradition of musicals. That's
exactly. Now, I had Brooks Ashmanskiskan, really, 2 weeks ago or whatever. And we did talk about Iceland because, Katie, you came back from Iceland and I went to Iceland.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. And I was telling Brooks that one of the things in Iceland that I do encourage people to go to is the Penis Museum.
Oh, how
they
did I miss
have
that?
No. Brad looks skeptical.
Hard ticket to get.
It's in Reykjavik. It's a small museum, but it is called the Penis Museum, and they have penises from various different species, and then at the very end of the whole thing, they have a human male penis. That's been preserved. One of the funniest things that I ever heard, though, was Jim came on after Brooks, of course, wanted to know the address of the Penis Museum. Of course, he wanted to book it right away.
I want to know, too. You're going to tell me.
Yes. It is in Reykjavik, and Jim, of course, his question to me was, "Is there a gift shop?"
Of course.
But it is in
Jim.
Reykjavik. It's a real thing. And you know, I just saw you in that Revolution of the Elbow. I can't tell what it was. I loved it, Brad. It was like. Did you ever see the movie Fantastic Voyage with Raquel Welch, where they're in someone's body?
Right. They go into exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Except you're on acid.
Yes.
And that's what that musical was. And how long did it last, Katie?
Not as long as we hoped.
Yeah.
The theater.
But the Marquis stayed up for a good long time.
It
Where
really
was
did.
it, Katie?
It was at
Where
the
was
Minetta
it?
Lane Theater.
At the Minetta Lane, right?
Yeah.
Minetta
A
Lane.
reputable house, otherwise.
Oh my God. No, I had a blast.
That's great.
But we did it in August, which is another thing. You know, they didn't quite understand that nobody does anything in August. And we opened in August, and, you know, and it was a strange piece of theater that I just loved. You know, I loved being able to belt my face off.
Yeah, no, and you were brilliant. You really were. You were brilliant. It was like, again, it was like Fantastic Voyage meets Wicked meets Acid Trip. It was crazy. Jan Kay says season 2 of Virtual Halston has been quite educational about Iceland.
I love Iceland.
This
is what can I tell you what I love about the Icelandic culture? You go there and I say, oh, I hear there's elves that live in your lava. And they're like, no, there's no elves. Then later I say, you know, I think you're missing a big opportunity here. I don't see any gift shops with elves in them. They said, oh no, that would anger the elves.
Okay, that's hilarious. That's
there you go.
Yeah, Libby, not as long as we had hoped. Overheard
Are you
the
Republican?
Oh, Libby, she's on fire.
Okay, that's fantastic.
There are no elves. The elves did it.
They would be very angry.
But we've heard they have long penises. Now, Brad,
Yes.
you are a Tony nominee a number of times, and the
Yes.
second one that
As Brooks would say, I'm a 2-time Tony loser.
Oh, well,
But now I can say that to him.
it,
So we're all good. We're all good. We're all good, Brooks. We're all good.
I'm a 4-time drama desk loser.
But a Seffi Award winner. We haven't talked about ourselves.
Something that I did want to get to is that we are CEF award winners. But first, yes, there we are.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yes.
Which you can only receive after the age of 50.
Yes,
Woo!
darling Katie, the CEF awards are given to old character actors.
I was
can't
right at the
wait
cutoff.
to turn 50.
Just wait. Just wait.
Yeah, yes.
Please.
No, it's unbelievable. It's kind of like, why don't they just say, we're giving you this award because you did a very outstanding performance in You Can't Take It With You or something, right? No, they make a big point of saying, we give this to older character actors.
Veterans.
Yeah,
Love it.
Yeah. But
Please.
really, you did receive that award because you were so brilliant in Something Rotten. I think there you are.
There I am.
So
There
great.
you are. With Rob McClure. Is that Rob?
Exactly. With Rob,
Yes.
who will be starring as Mrs. Doubtfire, aka
Yes.
Daniel. Yes.
And you got to see a lot of Brad's triple threadedness in
I'm telling you,
that.
Thanks to Casey at all. Yes. Thank
Yeah.
I
he
was
just
there
got to
opening
do a
night.
big old show off number in that.
you. Yeah.
I literally
It was crazy.
almost fell out of my chair. I was laughing so hard at your numbers. And I thought to myself, they had to have written this just for him. I mean, I can't imagine anyone else doing this.
Well, what was so great about that number, of course, as was the sort of the producers and the way that we sell it, it was that celebration of like American musical comedy in that way, and here it was sort of distilled into this 10-minute number that could literally be the point of the number, because me being able to see the future is a great device to do whatever the hell you want to do.
Yes.
And then, and then Casey and this ridiculous ensemble and Brian Darcy. I mean, yes, I was, I started the number. It's Nostradamus's thing to kick off. But, as it built and as we played it and as we put it before an audience, at the invited dress, we were like, what? And then, previews, we were like, still. And then it opened and we were like, this is, so, and we didn't take it for granted. I think just like we didn't with the producers, we knew that, these things, these reactions, these moments we share together live in a theater, moments like that don't come along that often, and we embrace them.
No, they're magic. They really are. But Brad, honestly, you bring so much, and I'm just wondering because, as someone who's actually writing more now, actually, I always think to myself like, who would be doing this? There is a Brad Oscar role in a sense. I mean, you've become sort of your own type. I know sometimes people say like, oh, get a Julie Halston type. Of course, they don't hire me, Julie Halston type. But have you ever like been asked to do like you or not gotten you? Do you know what I mean? Like people say, well, get Brad Oscar type, but then not Brad Oscar.
I'll be honest with you. I don't necessarily know who, I don't know those things. I don't, you almost don't want to know those. Look, as I said, we go from job to job. You hope that when a role is available, that somebody, whether it's the casting director or the writer or whoever is involved, because we have lived in our little village of Anatevka now for however long it's been, 30, 40 years, for God's sake, people know who we are in that way. And that's
just hoping they have a long memory.
Exactly. But they do, I think. A lot of people, those who have a respect for what we do have a long memory. Those who understand what it is, I hope have a long memory. And so, I just hope that, it can continue to cascade it that way. And so, yes, if they're looking for a Brad Oscar type, I hope that they'll come to me first, because at least let me turn it down. At least let me turn it down, for God's sake.
They've been looking for, it was a commercial. They were looking for a Katie Huffman type. And my agent submitted me, and they said she's not right.
Wow.
Right. So what do you, exactly. So they think they
know what they say now. If they're looking for a Julie Halston type, you know what that means?
Who's Julie Halston?
No. They go, oh, yes, we've already cast Jane Lynch.
Jeez.
That's what it is, darling. That's what it is. No, wait. I have to ask you, Katie, because I've seen you do so much on stage. This I missed. I could not believe this when I was researching you. When did you do this? Miss Peggy Lee? You did this. Look.
Oh, yes, I co-created that.
What? Tell us. What was that about?
I can tell you this year of pandemic, I have no idea when anything happened, but I think it was 2 summers ago. My co-creator, Will Nunziata, we are just huge. He said, I don't know. I can show you on the poster of Peggy Lee just off to the right here. He said, I keep on thinking you need to play Peggy Lee. Are you a fan? I said, well, I have a poster of her in my house. So we started imagining what she would want to say if she came back, and what her message was. So we met with her. It was funny. We went to lunch with her granddaughter, who is the executive of her estate and runs the estate. And she happened to be in New York, and she brought the guy who runs the Frank Sinatra estate and the guy who runs the Nat King Cole estate. So as close as we could to having lunch with those 3 icons, we did. We talked to a lot of people, and we learned so much about her, reading on. There's a lot of biographies and stuff, and she was a very, before her time woman, right? She wrote a lot of music. She produced music. She voiced all those characters in famous, Lady and the Tramp. She was also very spiritual and doing things that people now think of as everyday, and meditation and all these things. And she had this very beautiful way of greeting her fans. She would really make you feel as though you were the only 2 people in the room, and she was very attentive. And I did, since going back to Lisa, I knew Julie Andrews from through Blake, and I asked her, did you ever know Peggy? Oh, yes. And she said, let's go to the computer and look it up. So we looked up her performances with Peggy, and Peggy just had this, anyway, wonderful. I could go on and on. But yes, so 2 summers ago, we wrote this piece. We had sort of, there's the rights are not available. So we just had to do it at Green Room 42. And it was very well received, but we don't have the rights to move forward with it.
Right.
Yeah, so we're kind of looking whether or not that's going to happen and thinking, well, if we can't do that, what else can we do and still pay homage to Peggy and maybe some other women?
Well, you're always interesting. Things come back. Things come back. Things come.
I just read they're doing a motion picture about her life. I don't know.
Those are the people who own the rights. Yeah.
Listen to me. Oh, they own the rights.
Yeah. Her
Yeah.
life rights.
Now, Brad,
Fascinating. By the way, a little tidbit here. When I played the Lunt during Addams Family, Peggy Lee did her, not really infamous because it is what it is. She did a one-woman Broadway show that ran for like a night, I think, literally.
Yes.
And it was sort of about her life, and it contained her hit songs and some original songs. I'm sure it was fascinating because what a fascinating woman she was. But she had an elevator, not even an elevator. What do you call a little platform that you stand on that would then go down to the stage level from the star dressing room, which is on the 2nd floor? I don't know how the hell she got up there, but there was a door in this dressing room, the star dressing room, that was not used. You could see that it was, padded or whatever. We're like, what is that was the door that they carved so that she could step out onto this little platform that would bring her down to stage level so that she could go out Kanahara and do her thing. But, but no, she's a great lady. And I hope that you can get those right, because that's what it's all about. Like generating your own stuff like that, being able to, would be so cool. And I think she's a really interesting character.
She's a very interesting character.
Yeah.
I fell in love with her.
Wow.
Yeah,
Maybe now that this movie's happening, maybe they'll let you do something on this end of the.
We're trying to get to the right person, and we've talked to several people along the way.
Exactly.
So
one
maybe
knows.
they're a virtual Halston fan, and they're
We got it out there. And by the way,
it's going to be very different than the movie.
Let's hope they're tipping so that we can keep paying for the platform.
Yes.
There we are, also giving money to the PFF, the platform. We hope you're enjoying this conversation. And again, thank you for all that you do. Katie, I think your mic and headphones keep hitting you. Oh, that was from earlier. I'm just reading.
I think we read
That is so 5:30, Julie.
Brad, yeah, exactly. Brad, why have you not done a show of your own? You're a natural. I think you and Diego and your sister should do a show.
And my sister, exactly. Another very talented Oscar, Victoria. Hi, Vic.
Yes.
I don't know. Some people are self-motivated like you. Look at this empire you've created.
Oh, yeah, an empire. Yeah, an empire. Yeah. I'm literally in the back of my the empire. This is crazy. No, but really, you, your sister, and Diego, and your Diego, for anyone who doesn't know, is your husband. I think we have a pic of Diego.
Look, honey, we're both on love.
There he is.
Yes.
But no, why not? We have a family affair. You could do it at Birdland. We could get you booked.
We know the guy
Exactly.
there.
Yeah. Please, you make my parents all of the parents would be very happy. They love a good club act or a good CD. When are you going to make
Oscar? Yes. Okay, Victoria.
Yes.
No,
Hi, Vic.
I mean it. I really mean it. It's ridiculous that there is not an Oscar show. This is ridiculous. And you know what? We'll invite Brad Pitt with his Oscar to come to the Brad Oscar show.
Let's invite him.
Let's invite him.
You're full of good ideas.
Now, I before we bring Jim back in, we do have to mention that Katie does have her own web series that she created. Katie did. Yes. There it is. Katie did.
Yes, Katie did.
Katie.
Yes.
How come I've never been on it? How come Brad's never been on it? How come Ruth has never been on it?
The pandemic killed us, didn't it? But we're doing another Indiegogo fundraising to try to get a couple of Emmy nominations, because it's expensive to nominate your show for Emmys. So we do qualify. So we are, fingers crossed, going to raise a little money and try and get some Emmy nominations.
Right.
Because
So
these little
good.
shows are ridiculous. How do you raise money to do these shows? And then a pandemic hits, and season 2 is,
Yeah.
on the back burner.
I'm half Sicilian, so I just threaten people.
Do you? Thank you.
I
Well, we'll have
do.
to just talk then.
Yeah,
I'm
do.
half Italian,
Yeah,
so
there you go. You just
Yeah.
threaten. And you do it in a nice way. You say, I really need this or whatever. And then you sort of bring up people in their family. And that's how you do it. And you go,
With a smile.
yeah, with a smile, I know
Oh,
your
truly.
brother's been in trouble before. And then you walk away.
Wow, I
And
have
guess
so much
what?
to
Then you
learn.
get $10,000. I'm
I
going to bring
saw Nick and Nora.
exactly. I'm going to bring Jim back in. because
Jim.
I
Oh,
want
yeah,
to
I
ask some
thought he was
questions.
gonna answer your
I saw Nick and Nora just thrown insouciantly into the conversation.
I mean, exactly. Somebody would be like, what?
You
Jim,
guys have been talking about so many people that I know. First of all, Victoria Oscar, love
Oh,
her. Holly Foster, Peggy Lee's granddaughter, fabulous woman. But here's what I want to ask you, Katie Huffman. It just sounded like Jiminy Glick.
Yes, Katie. Katie,
I was watching.
how much weight have you gained here?
so Katie Huffman TV.
I'm watching Iron Chef as I do, and all of a sudden, there's Katie Huffman. What the hell? Well,
Foodie.
that's cute. How did that happen?
I am a professional eater.
She's a foodie.
For 10 seasons, I was on Iron Chef.
I know, but what was the process of you being involved
Literally,
in that show?
there were no food competitions on television when it started 100 years ago. And my friend Bruce Seidel was the producer on it. He was a new young producer, and he called me. I was in the producers at the time, and he said, Katie, you're sort of famous. Do you want to come on our show?
sort of.
Like,
Wow.
Literally. You're
Thanks.
sort of famous.
Your,
You wanna
your
come on our
Food
show?
Network famous.
Yeah. And then I said, well, is there a free meal? He said, yes. I'm like, I'm in. And then it just
So
stuck.
great.
It was
Great.
so fun.
I
Yeah.
remember, Katie, when we were doing producers and you were invited to the opening of Mr. Colicchio's Craft back before Tom
Yes.
Colicchio was Tom Colicchio, I guess, because that was 2000 and whatever, probably 2-ish.
Yeah.
And I remember that you had gone to the the taste or whatever it was of Craft. It was the first time I had
Like
heard.
the pre-opening. Yeah.
Ooh.
But yeah,
Yeah,
she's
it
a
was
big
amazing.
foodie. How
Are
about
you
that?
still involved in the restaurants and the foodies? Are you not now, but
That's
in
funny.
that kind of scene?
I suppose I could be. I don't remember. It's like so long ago now. Restaurants.
The
What?
pandemic has truly taken her brain.
All right, so you get delivery.
No,
How
I cook.
fun.
I do cook. I cook a lot at home.
That's good.
You
I
do?
Cook and cook. Yeah.
Ooh, good to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah,
Okay, then
enjoy
I
it.
also want to ask Brad something.
Yeah.
Being a Brad Oscar type as you are, do you see yourself ever doing like a very dramatic role or something? Antigone.
Antigone,
Law and
Medea.
Order.
Yeah.
Yes,
Antigone.
exactly.
That's something in your heart that you feel we haven't seen yet.
Well, I would like to be challenged in a way. I have enjoyed the occasion of being able to do text, right? As we say, when you're not like doing a musical, right? So to do a play, to do something like that. And a lot of that has been comedic stuff, but I've had a couple that haven't been. And yes, it's always because it's not my bread and butter. And so it's not what I do a lot. Yes, I find the challenge of that and actually the fear of that is really good to, to keep me like alive in that way. So yes, that would be more of a challenge because it's less of what I tend to do. But we all like to think of ourselves as actors, and when people tend to pigeonhole you or think, oh, you're a musical theater or you're just, you're so funny. They're not going to cast Julie Halston as Mary Tyrone, but I bet you Julie Halston would give us a Mary Tyrone we would never forget.
Darling, I'm telling you,
Right?
I
I'm
totally
serious.
agree with you. And I think I would love to see you in Strindberg and Ibsen, and do you know what I mean? All those sort of heavier. I think you could be doing.
Or even
I
like
think your fans would love that.
Yeah,
Just like we love seeing Nathan do something really touching. It's look
we're at
so
Nathan's
invested in you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, and in the work that Nathan's done in the last 10 years, when he sort of resolved the musical, or renounced the musical theater. But geez Louise, just the Nance, obviously, as and the Angels in America and Iceman. I mean, come on. So yeah, we all have that in us, I guess. And when you get when you do a certain thing, of course, you get cast in a certain way, which is all good because I'm, thrilled to do what I do. But yes, sure. Bring it on.
Bring it on. Absolutely. And Katie, is there a role that you've ever said, you know what, I would like to do that?
I would love to do if there's someone out there who's finding a new way to do it. And I have talked to a couple of people to do Gypsy. I would love to do Mama Rose and make Mama Rose like a former, if you want to be showgirl, like really, like they have the competition between her and Gypsy be intense.
Calling the Muni. Calling the Muni right now. You're outside. You don't have to wear a mask.
You have to be at least 8 feet apart. So, just to fill the stage.
Right now. Oh my God. Fantastic. Well, listen, we've actually, it's the end of the show.
What?
Already?
Shocking.
Did we go over?
I guess it is.
We did. We went over, but you know what? Nobody cared. Nobody cared.
What else do you have to do?
That's right.
This is it. I don't even know what to do once you tell me it's over.
Let me just make sure, Ruby, we don't have any questions, do we, Ruby? Nobody wants any questions, do they? I just want to make sure that.
Who's on watching is Billy Stritch, and it's his birthday today.
Yes!
Happy birthday, Billy Stritch.
Happy birthday, Billy.
Yes,
Stritch.
and yes, we're going to see Billy a little later, but happy birthday, Billy. Ruby, come back for a second. Does anyone have any questions? No, nobody cares. Nobody.
Of course people care, Julie. We didn't specifically ask for questions in this episode, so people were just sending their love and admiration for both Brad and Katie. It was a fantastic show. Actually, Billy left a few comments that I thought were interesting. Oh, look at this one.
Oh, Peggy.
That's
there you go. Thank you, Billy.
That's what it was.
Yes.
Wow.
There you go.
There you go.
She had some real challenges later. Yeah.
Isn't it great? This is what I just love about doing this show, though. Every time I do something like this, I learn more. And I also learn more about my friends that I adore.
That's the good thing that I'm learning, too, with my show is I've had some of my close friends on, but you don't always do research on your close friends. And when you go out to dinner, you're talking about the show or the something. It's never about, Iceland, we don't really get into the details of their life. And being able to do this is so much fun.
It really is. It really is. This was fantastic. I just love the both of you so much.
Oh,
and as soon as we can, we want to come and visit your new home, Katie.
Please come on up.
I want to.
Especially when it warms up. I have a backyard.
Oh,
yes.
I covet.
Are you going to cook?
I'll cook.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
Well, we love us a barbecue. My cousin now lives with me. My favorite person, Guy, lives with me now. So we love to cook together. So it's a lot of grilling of the animal flesh and then doing some veggies. And, it's very simple, very clean, delicious. I have a little allergy to nightshades, which is tomatoes and peppers and eggplants and all these things that I love. And I've just found a great recipe for a tomato sauce that I will be making into different things like lasagnas and all that.
Ooh.
Well,
that's not tomato.
I might have to come up next week.
Please do.
I
have a porch too, an enclosed porch. You can sit there. I can serve you.
Exactly. Oh, this is fantastic. Well, this was an incredible show. Thank you, all our viewers. Please, again, feel free to tip us if you can. We'd love to pay for these platforms, or maybe even more platforms. We love Katie. We love Brad. We love Lisa, Ruby, Jim. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Mwah.
Thank you, Julie.
Love
Bye,
you guys. Thank you so
Love
much.
you.
Bye, Katie.
What more is there to say?